the channel if you're new, or if you're not, I'm Alicia and I'm so excited you're here either way. It is the new year and a lot of people are trying to build meal prep habits. It makes sense. I mean, in theory, meal prep should make sticking to a healthy lifestyle easier. So why is it so daunting? I have been meal prepping for a decade and helping others learn to meal prep. And what I have found is everyone needs to do it a little bit differently. And the problem most often is everyone is trying to do it the same way. We hear meal prep and we often think about those perfect Instagram fridge photos. You know, we might set that as our standard and then we end up disappointed when it doesn't work out that way. So today I am sharing some tips that I have learned over the years, as well as a few simple recipes to kickstart your meal prep journey. The first tip, don't stress about prepping every single meal. This is a great way to set ourselves up for failure. The pendulum swings, you know, we love the all or nothing. Many of us struggle with black and white thinking, but the truth is, like most things, meal prep is a spectrum. So you might be, you know, a more minimal prepper or a maximum prepper, and that can look different ways. You might prep, you know, less food on a Sunday and do a little more during the week, or you might do it all on Sunday and do less during the week. You might only prep dinners on the weekend, or you might only prep for Monday through Friday. So there are a gazillion permutations of how meal prep might look. And my advice is let good enough be good enough, right? Start with good enough. Start with the bare minimum of what will reduce stress in your life. Otherwise, meal prep ends up being something that adds to your stress. So what's the point? My next tip is to work with those negative patterns that hold you back, like perfectionism and self-criticism and judgment and black and white thinking. You know, all of those that I just listed are related. We want all or nothing because we're used to thinking in that way. You know, we restrict and then we binge and we screw it all up and then we got to start it over next week, and we can't start today, we have to start on a Monday. You know, it doesn't work. We have to be ready to begin again right now, even if it's the middle of the day on a Thursday. This is about letting go of criticism and judgment. You know, you are not a bad person if you eat something that's not nutritious. So we have to acknowledge, okay, this happened, begin again. You know, take it one day at a time. The best way to work with the pattern that you want to change is first to notice it. We have to have awareness before we can make change. So right now, our negative habits are happening automatically, compulsively, you know, but if I notice them as they're happening, then we bring conscious awareness to the picture. And when I'm aware, then I can respond rather than react compulsively. So even noticing, oh, that's my black and white thinking pattern, or that's my self-criticism pattern, that helps me get some distance from it. And then I can see it more clearly, you know, and not feel so gripped by it. So this is a process, it's a journey, and it's gonna be a little bit different for each of us. And that leads to the third tip, which is knowing yourself and knowing your needs. Like I said earlier, most people are meal prepping based on that outer wisdom, you know? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my inner outer wisdom video, but outer wisdom is essentially following someone else's rules or what works for someone else. It might be what an expert or a doctor or a person on YouTube said. It might be what science says, but it doesn't take you into account. So that's inner wisdom. You know, what do you like? What do you need? What kind of meal prep actually serves you and your needs versus achieving an Instagram fridge? In my Mind Over Meal Prep course, I teach people to do what I call a data collection for at least a week so they can really see themselves clearly, so that they can see their current eating habits clearly and see, oh, I really need this meal each week most, or this is where my biggest struggle is. And with that data, then you can do an assessment, you know, like a scientist, to actually determine what serves you. You know, this meal prep is supposed to serve you, right? I will link my course below if you're interested in learning more about it. Okay, regarding food, my tips are really basic. Have some stuff ready to go for the week. So for grains, on meal prep day, cook 1 or 2 grains that you can use in multiple ways. You know, rice is my go-to. You could also do quinoa, and these grains don't need to just be used for dinner. I have thrown them into breakfast, like this breakfast quinoa bowl. So this recipe shows how easy it is to have your grains prepped and ready to go go and then make something the morning of. So in a saucepan, I just combine that meal prepped quinoa with some milk, any kind of milk will work, a drizzle of honey or maple syrup, cinnamon, and salt. Heat it through over the stove, or you could microwave this, and then get creative with your toppings. You could change it up every morning. I used bananas and strawberries, but sometimes I'll use blueberries or yogurt or peanut butter. You can use nuts, really anything that your heart desires, but it's healthy, it's tasty, it's comforting, it's quick, and I'm more likely to make it because the quinoa is already prepped. I also like to prep veggies on meal prep day because veggies are one thing that I struggle with a lot, and if they're not accessible easily, I'm probably not gonna eat them. So I will show you a way that I use some prepped veggies in a one-pot spaghetti. This can be made for a weeknight using those prepped veggies in a fresh weeknight meal, or you can make this meal at the beginning of the week for meal prep and then, portion it out and reheat it throughout the week. So in a pot over medium heat, I saute some chopped onion, minced garlic, and those meal prepped mushrooms in oil for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then I add some marinara sauce, herbs, today I'm using dried basil and oregano, salt, and vegetable broth. Bring that all to a boil, and then we're gonna add our dry spaghetti and some chopped zucchini, which was also meal prepped. Chopped zucchini doesn't last too many days, so you're gonna wanna use it within a few days of cutting. In my course, I have this best worst guide that can help you determine how long foods will last, and I will link that in the description below. If you want that, you can download it for free. So reduce that mixture to a simmer, let it sit uncovered until the spaghetti is cooked through and the liquid has reduced about 8 to 12 minutes. And you're also gonna wanna stir it regularly to keep the spaghetti from sticking to the pan. The great thing about this one pot recipe is the ingredient amounts are designed so that you don't need to strain the pasta. You have the exact amount of liquid you'll need to cook the spaghetti, and it ends up coated in this flavorful sauce that's simmered throughout the cooking time. Finally, I stir in some spinach and just let that wilt another minute or two, just for some extra veggie goodness. So delicious and easy. I like to serve this with a little or a lot of grated Parmesan cheese. I love that I can prep the vegetables for this recipe in advance, which makes it so easy to just toss them in and cook. Minimal effort for meal prepping, but I still get a fresh cooked meal. Or, like I said, you could prep this on the weekend and then enjoy it throughout the week. It's savory, it's satisfying, and it offers flavor and nutrition. In addition to grains and vegetables, I also recommend prepping protein in advance. Protein is one of the most time-consuming parts of cooking and of meal prepping. So if that's already done, my meal can be pretty stress-free to throw together. I'll show you how I use it in this garlic, chicken, and rice bowl, which can also be used on any weeknight using that meal prep protein for a fresh cooked meal, or you can make the whole thing in advance for the week. I also love this recipe because it's a great way to use frozen vegetables, which I cannot recommend enough for meal prep. Frozen veggies are quick and easy. They're usually pre-cooked or parboiled, and they are also frozen at peak freshness. It is a win-win. So in a large pot over medium heat, saute some onions and garlic and a little oil for just a few minutes until translucent and fragrant. And then I add in frozen broccoli, frozen spinach, brown rice, and water. Again, no chopping or pre-cooking required for these vegetables. The liquid is enough to cook the rice, so this makes the recipe easy and nutritious. Bring all that to a boil and then turn down to a simmer and allow to cook for 20 to 30 minutes, stirring occasionally. You will want to cook this until the water is completely absorbed and the rice is tender. Then I stir in some canned chickpeas that I drained and rinsed, my meal prepped protein, which was ground chicken, but turkey, beef, or even tofu will work here. I also added some fresh parsley and seasoned with salt and pep. And there it is, another easy, quick, fresh, nutritious, and delicious weeknight meal. I am a huge garlic fan, so I go a little garlic crazy, but of course you could limit it if you prefer. I think sauteed garlic and onions make a dinner meal taste so much more satisfying, fresh, intentional, and complete. I have said this so many times on my channel, but I think it's important to understand that we don't need exact recipes to make fresh, nutritious meals. These recipes seem so simple because they are. You know, there's really nothing to them. You could mix and match whatever you like and leave out the things that you don't, and eventually, you know, you'll wonder why you ever thought you needed a recipe in the first place. And in fact, that is my last tip of the day. If you can let go of an attachment to recipes, meal prep is gonna feel a lot easier and less daunting. You will have a lot more flexibility with what you can do in the kitchen, and you won't feel tied to following recipes exactly. If you don't feel like you can go without recipes right now, I do teach how to get more comfortable in the kitchen in my Kitchen Confidence course. In fact, there are entire sections of the course called the Resource Cabinet, which are dedicated to showing you how to prep and cook individual basic ingredients and components that you can use to make meals on your own. If you feel like you've got your kitchen confidence down and you're ready to take things to the next level, you might want to check out my Mind Over Meal Prep course, which is all about learning to meal prep sustainably for you and your lifestyle in a mindful way. Links to both of those courses are available in the description box below at mindovermunch.com/courses. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you found these meal prep basic tips helpful. Let me know in the comments, what has helped you most with meal prep, or what is your biggest struggle? Maybe I can answer some of your questions in an upcoming video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. I have new videos coming every Monday and Thursday all month long in January. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you Thursday with a brand new episode, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.